Now, here's the crazy part, okay?
So these homes then, are a lot of them being powered by solar and by hydrogen?
Yeah, completely. When people sign the deed restriction, it actually asks that they do not connect to the grid whatsoever with regards to electricity or sewage. So yeah, fully just pure solar is mostly the answer for most people.
But they can still have some modern amenities with these off-grid homes. That's the thing. It's not like they're living in a shack in the middle of the woods somewhere.
These are nice houses. These are like
Mhm.
really nice houses, like really nice houses.
Now, do these people a lot of times build the homes themselves, like by hand, or do they hire a contractor in to come do that essentially?
So we're actually, so we have examples of like designers
Okay.
that right? And I just mentioned like the architecture team. We were talking through logistics here.
Hmm.
Uh, but the next play that we're actually making is we're actually just buying our own construction company.
That's cool. That's a big next step.
Yeah, just outright buying one. Simple as that. Because we can hold them to the right standards. You know, this idea of crowdfunding, the power of numbers that you find in the Book of Acts, right? Is it's not just about the land, guys. It's about construction. It's about utilities. So like, I'll go and I'll find a solar company, and I'll be like, look, if you work with me, I've got 40 customers in Texas. I got 40 customers in Tennessee. I got another 100 coming in Florida. Let's cut a deal. Okay, let's do something that, you know, you can get them the best rates possible on this stuff, and you'll have every single one of them. You'll have access to every single one of them. They're like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
Sledgehammer, right? Went to them. I was like, look, I want you guys as like the main guys with regards to this. You know, this is the situation. You know, help me represent your company right, but I'll give you a deal with every single one of these other guys. They're happy to do that. And construction, right? There's a couple of different hard things about construction, and you can best reference it with the construction triangle, right? This triangle is when you're building something, you can choose to make it fast, cheap, or at very high quality, right? And you can choose two out of those three. So you can make it fast and high quality, it's not going to be cheap. You can make it high quality and cheap, but it's not going to be fast, right? Or you can make it fast. You can make it any one of those combinations, but you can't do it all three. Typically, the beauty of Axe is that you can actually start to have all three, because again, I can go to the construction company and say, look, we've got 40 customers, man.
Yeah.
You
Give us a
know,
volume discount.
it's give us a volume discount. Simple as that. And because they're also doing the volume discount, see, one of the main costs in construction is just transport, just getting the labor there on it, especially if you're going to be rural. Because if you're like 60 minutes or 90 minutes outside of the city, let's say I'm a construction contractor and I have jobs. Job number one is less than 15 minutes away from my house. Job number two is 60 minutes away from my house. They're both the same amount of money. Who do you think I'm going to want to go with?
15 minutes away.
15 minutes away, easy, right? So what we're able to do is we're able to get the labor there consistently where it's not going to be this, you know, very difficult process to get them out there because you're out there remote. They literally know we're going to be here for the next 40 jobs,
Yeah.
right? So now all of a sudden we're getting the benefit of speed. We're getting the benefit. It almost becomes like the factory system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, okay, framing. Let's do all the framing at once. Framing. Let's do all the foundations. Bum, 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 bum. You can do that with cement companies. We can do that with lumber companies. We can do that with every single one of these parts and pieces.
That is so cool. So let's go into the next part of this conversation.
Yeah.
Take us there and explain more of the process.
Let's talk about franchising, man. Let's talk about it, because this is, I think, for most people, you know, it's funny, but I almost discover new things about Axe to get most excited about, right? And franchising huge. Okay, let's look at the difficulty of you trying to do it on your own. First off, try to do it on your own. It's going to take you 5 to 10 years. I know, because I was at the homesteading conference in Hardison Mill in Tennessee, and over at the Modern Homestead conference over in Idaho. And I literally talked to thousands of people who have their own homestead. And I asked them, how long has it taken you to just buy raw land, set up your home, and have animals and sell them? Not a single person out of the thousands I spoke to in person said less than 4 years. Not a single one. Not a single one. Okay, not one soul. All right, the average is 8 or 9 years. That's average.
Wow. And that's if you don't go bankrupt first, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I talked to a woman, speaking of bankrupt. She was 7 years in. She quit 3 times. She had to sell all of her animals 3 different times,
Wow.
okay, to get things up and running, because that's how difficult it is.
Mm-hmm.
Versus you go with ACTS, we can get it all done 12 to 18 months. Bang.
Wow.
That's it.
How do you do that?
Coordinating all the people, coordinating all the partners, right? So let's go through what it looks like. Again, most people, I don't expect them to have the money to just buy land, do everything all at once. Although you can get a construction loan and use the construction loan to fund the purchase of your land and fund the purchase of your actual home build. It's only 5% down, only 5% down, and you can build out the rest of that, okay? But again, most people don't do that. Most people buy the land and they transition into it. So how do you do that? All right. If you go to Proverbs 24 and you go to line 27, it will say, and we can even go to Bible Hub to go check it out. It will literally say in it, complete your outdoor work and prepare the fields. After that, excuse me, build your home. Okay. And this is in the section that's literally called Further Sayings of the Wise Men. So we're in the book of Proverbs, all right, and we're looking at the sayings of the wise. Boom, further sayings of the wise. Complete your outdoor work and prepare your field. After that, you may build your house. So the wise men have told us the exact answer of what we want to do. All right, you buy the land. Let's set up the infrastructure for your own farm. Let's prepare the field. Let's set up maybe an Airbnb. Let's turn that thing into something profitable, and then from there, let's start funding out our home build. If we have the whole thing, okay, I'll tell you the mortgage right now, you're looking between $5,000 to $6,000. Okay, that's our goal. How can we make $5,000 to $6,000? Well, I was talking to a woman at one of these at the Modern Homesteading Conference in Idaho. She told me that she set up her own home. She said, number one, I wish I had ACTS. I would have done it I started 4 years ago, but if I knew what you guys were doing now, I would have done it. Okay, she says that it took her 4 years to actually just break even. Okay, and she finally was able to do it and start getting to profit. And she failed and failed and failed until she started selling dairy. Okay, she started selling raw dairy. She says that she started earning $1,500 per cow through raw dairy. Okay, $1,500 per cow. So here's where things got crazy. We are acquiring the services of a gentleman named @FarmerMills on Instagram, who specializes in helping people get USDA beginner farmers loans. These are loans and grants that allow people, it's in the name, to become beginner farmers, okay? And all you need to do is show some business experience and a business plan. He will help you write your business plan and file it to the USDA to get that money. Okay, now that you have access to funding from the USDA Beginner Farmer Loan Program, you can set up the infrastructure for your own farm. All right, so simple base numbers to keep it easy. $100,000 loan is good enough to be able to get a food forest, have a cattle operation, okay, and have a rotational grazing like chicken system that fall behind the cattle. Here's how they all relate, and I promise you, it's all going to work out. So
yeah.
When you use regenerative systems like rotational grazing, you do not need your typical feed. Instead, the grass that you have, especially that we select with the best lands in the world, is more than sufficient to feed the cows. And what you're going to do is you're going to rotate the cows from one paddock to the next paddock, to the next paddock, to the next paddock, one time each and every day. Okay, you don't need to be a cowboy, you don't need to have a horse, you don't need to have a dog, you don't need to have an ATV, you just need to ring a bell and then move the wiring system so that they know at the same time every day they're going to go from paddock 1 to 2, same time every day from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, all the way through 8 different paddocks, okay? It takes 30 minutes tops to do this, 30 minutes tops. And the other thing you're going to be doing in that 30 minutes is you're going to be following the cows behind with chickens, okay? About 1 or 2 paddocks behind, because the cows are going to eat and poop, and it's going to take 2 days for the poop to gather flies and maggots and worms, and the chickens will come in, they'll scratch through the cow poop, and they'll eat the flies, the maggots, and the worms, okay? Then
Wow.
chickens will leave fertilizer as well. And over the course of the next 6 days, as the cows go around, right? Because it's been, a couple of days, so 8 days was the whole thing. That is the perfect amount of time for the grass to recover itself. So it's the perfect height to be eaten once again. Okay.
Wow.
So, as I said, this system takes about 30 minutes a day to just rotate them. So what we have is we have the ACTS ranch hands. These are students from, for example, in Texas, it's Texas A&M students.
Okay.
We also have veterans, and we have permaculture, people who have studied in permaculture. They will gladly go to your backyard, move the cows and move the chickens for you, okay? So you don't even have to do any of this stuff. It just takes them 30 minutes to do it. If you have dairy cows, it might take them an extra hour. They'll set up and they'll milk the cows for you as well, okay? And now usually for someone who tries to have a ranch hen, they have to pay their full-time salary. Versus tax, because it's you and your neighbors, you're splitting the costs of the ranch hand salary with between 5 to 8 other people.
Okay. Dude, this
Okay,
gets better and better.
I told you it gets sick. The cost with 5 to 8 other people, so it's not even that expensive to have these ranch hands. They take care of it for you. You can tell them exactly what schedule you want. This is another harsh reality for people if they try to do it on their own. If you try to do it on your own, you don't have ranch hands, congratulations, you can't take a vacation.
Right.
Because who's going to move the cow? It's hard enough for me to go on vacation with my dogs, right? What about cows that rely on me?
Yeah, that's what my wife and I have talked about. We have a horse, and this horse is, I mean, a dog, right? He's just an oversized dog. He's great, but we have been aiming towards buying 4 or 5, maybe 10 acres in the next couple of years. And then we're going back and forth, because it's like, okay, well, we can, have the horse on our land, which saves us money and board, and we can have chickens, which we go through a dozen eggs a day as a family, and that'll only increase as my kids get older. And but then it's like, well, if we have all this, we don't have family that can necessarily take care of them. Like, we want to travel too. We have kids real young. As we age, we want to be able to leave and, go to a beach, go to the mountains. We'll see if maybe one day we end up living in the mountains, Idaho or Montana.
I gotta show you that. If I show you the Idaho property, you're gonna move. I'm telling you,
I will go and not want to come back. Yeah. But I think that's what's so cool about how you're setting it up. People are like us. They want all this, but they also want to, and it's hard. I guess you can't have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it sounds like you can.
You can. Oh, just wait. We're about to take it to that next. I love it. Are you kidding me? Level. Okay, so as I said, you can have these ranch hands literally just help it out. And it's at your discretion what you want to schedule it out. Okay. If you need to pay it a la carte, like for whatever reason, you're going to be out for vacation, you can get the job done, $25 to $45 a day. They'll come in, they'll take care of everything for you. You have your eggs picked up, you have your cattle moved, you have your chickens moved, everything just done. Simple.
That's less expensive than a dog sitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not crazy. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So now here's the crazy part. Okay. So, Roofing Marketing Pros was the first business I'd worked on that I'd taken to over $1 million to online advertising. Okay. Then there was helping out a doctor's practice get to over 12. It was my father's practice, right? Get to over $12 million a year. So $1 million a month. That was the last. I'll help out my dad because he's a great guy. I would never help out any more doctors ever again. Nothing like that ever again. But my dad, I was happy to help him out. He's a great guy. ACTS is my third, and Raw and Uncensored is going to be my fourth. Okay.
Raw and Uncensored.
What is Raw and Uncensored? Okay.
Well, and before you jump into that, because I want to hear about that, but I also want people to know, and I did a little, background research on you before we got together and started having our conversation, but you didn't just have a small marketing agency, right? Like how big like you built a multi-million-dollar marketing agency, didn't you?
So what we'd been able to successfully do was, again, I mean, when you're bringing it in, let's just put it this way: when you're helping a person get to 12 mil, a year, like you're going to be doing pretty well. Like,
yeah,
that's what I'd say about that. Like, it wasn't some small thing, and we'd helped out, golf clinics, we helped out meditation, we helped out health coaches, we helped out all sorts of different things, and it had a lot of success as well. I guess that's it's just incredible. So, okay, so what is the opportunity here? Okay.
Yeah.
You can have you can literally have Farmer Mills help you get the
Mhm.
funding for you. Okay. Then you can have the initial farm setup done for you. You can
Mhm.
have ranch hands come in, taking care of them, done for you. They'll collect the produce, and then you can have me as your business partner. Okay. And I will sell produce for you. Okay. Through the Raw and Uncensored brand. All right.
So that's
Now,
what Raw and Uncensored is becoming.
yes.
Oh
Yes.
man,
Okay. So
love
we're
it.
raw and uncensored milk. No steroids, no preservatives, no BS. It's going to be milk that is delivered directly to the door. I know you're mad about this earlier about like, oh, but in this case, I assure you, it's worthwhile. Okay? People who don't have access to raw milk, okay, we're bringing back the milkman, and they literally subscribe and they get the milk delivered to their door, okay. And the previous week's like glasses just get picked up, recycled, washed out, get more milk, and then just delivered again, over time. So they have this subscription milk coming in, and it's the nicest stuff. When I looked at the market, people were driving an average of 50 minutes each way to pick up their raw milk. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what.
There's a co-op that my friends use, and it's this Amish guy out in Western Indiana who, I mean, him and all his kids run around the farm barefoot, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they've got hobbit feet, and they're just beasts of human beings, and in a good way, I mean. But raw milk is so incredible. It heals the gut. It helps the hormone production. It's so good. Anybody who's against dairy, I get it, but that's traditional pasteurized dairy. That's not raw
Exactly.
milk.
It's very different. Raw milk, it tastes like ice cream. It's like
Oh,
amazing.
it's so good. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can imagine it, if we think about it this way, there's no Coca-Cola of like the raw milk world. Like there's no
Mhm.
number one go-to, right? There's there's no like Red Bull, right? Right now there's Logan Paul's Prime. There's
Mhm.
liquid, right, in the water world, that canned water.
Mhm.
Like Raw and Uncensored is going to be at that same level of an actual national brand that people will literally know in their household. Like, oh yeah, of course, like Raw and Uncensored, right?
Mhm.
The Raw and Uncensored eggs. It will say, "Warning: not for soy boys. These chickens are vegetarians and have no soy." Okay.
Love it.
We're gonna have raw and uncensored goat milk, and it'll
Okay.
say GOAT milk, the undisputed greatest of all time milk. Okay. And so people will be going through Store and they will be buying this milk. Okay. And so we can just literally sell it for you. And basically, out of every $1,500 that can come in, right,
Mhm.
we'll ask for a third to cover everything. That covers the ranch hands, that covers vets, that covers operational costs, that covers deliveries, that covers marketing, the whole entire thing. And then you get the other 1,000, just a check in the door. Okay. And just think
How
about
many
this.
cows does it take to produce $1,500 worth of milk?
That's
Or
one cow.
that's one cow.
That's one cow.
Wow.
So we're talking about, at the end of the day, even taking out the operational cost is basically $1,000 per cow.
Mhm.
So I had that one video that went viral where I was like, look, like you're like just five cows, five, maybe six cows. That's all you need.
Mortgage is paid.
Everything.
Dude, this is a dream. Now I can see why you're saying people think it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I know it's different, but it's like, no, this is real,
Yeah.
this is actually real. And we're really, we're really planning to expand things,
Mhm.
the vision for this is it just goes way beyond, oh, you're just a real estate company or just a land development company,
Right.
and way beyond like, oh, it's just construction, or way beyond, oh, it's just, this thing. It's like, no, guys, like there's so much on the other side of this. And
Mhm.
for anybody listening who's like, it's still too good to be true, this has to be some type of scam, he's asking for $2,500 up front. Yo, actually, like, I want to say a couple of things, okay? All right, number one, all right, for anybody, look, it literally takes 100 people paying the stupid little $2,500 to match the equivalent of one parcel.
Mhm.
So which one would I rather? Waste my time grifting 100 people out of $2,500, or just follow through my word and just sell one parcel of land?
Yeah.
Okay, just some logic here. right? And on the other side of it, there's also, there's everything that we can do as we scale this upwards, because there's actual income that can be made on a massive scale, okay? Just little G alone, just our Texas property alone, with the milk that I just mentioned, okay, that ranch for a fact ran 250 head of cattle. That's a fact. That's a historical fact. Okay, and even if everybody on that property had 5 cows, that's still only 200 cows. So I'm under the capacity of that ranch. That would be $300,000 a month that can be brought in through that.
Wow. And
Okay.
you're paying for your home. It's passive, and then it becomes passive income.
Exactly.
Once your property is paid off, that becomes passive income.
Let's take it to that next level, okay? You're going to be like, are you kidding me? Yo, do you understand the amount of money people are willing to pay to learn about these skills? So set up a little Airbnb cabin, invite people in, come check out how we do stuff at X. Come check out how our cattle operation works. Come check out how raw and uncensored is made. Come check out, how we're running this regenerative operation system, and come even learn.
Boom, 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 boom. Passive income.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you may even have an opportunity to create your own Airbnb out of this.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying specifically, make a premium, nice Airbnb, invite people to come in and check out your operation, and they'll do it.
That is incredible. This it sounds too good to be true, but the way you're laying it out, it's doable. It's not it's not unreachable. It's not unattainable. Oh, exactly.
Man. That's why, if I could just say this, that's why I tell people, look, if you don't, just go check out our frequently asked questions page, go through every video. Don't let me try to do it, because if I say it, they'll just think TJ's just working some type of TJ magic. That's all it is all the time. And it's no.
So they give you $2,500. Does that go towards the land once the development all happens? Yeah. So you're not just throwing away $2,500. It's going towards something. And for everybody out there that's listening, there is a money down cost to buying this huge plot of land. So that's kind of what this, I'm sure, helps, right?
Yeah. Let's be super clear. So easy numbers, right? Depending on the financing that you might get, it might be between 20 to 35% down, right? That's just any land development deal. There's a way, I can't reveal it yet, but there's a way, and there's a possibility we might be able to find someone who can help us out for just doing stuff at 15% down, but it's too early at this stage for me to be able to say it, so I don't want to put that out there yet. But it's a possibility. But for now, 20 to 35% down. So what are you looking at? So let's say it's like a $250,000 parcel of land. It might be $50,000 down to maybe $75,000 down. Which I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh well, that's nothing, But at the same time, for anybody who's really serious about this, worth it. Worth it 1,000 times over. If you own a home, take out a HELOC, just use a home equity line of credit, right? If you could use a business line of credit. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and if you commit to this, then you can do it. To go a little bit deeper about this, 2,500 and kind of the joke behind it, right? Again, guys, I could not care less about the 2,500 that goes in for that, right? It honestly doesn't even get paid out to me. That literally just goes into legal. That literally goes to legal stuff and paying my team and stuff like that. That doesn't actually go to me. All right. But it's also there because if a person's been yapping about they want to live this lifestyle, and especially if someone's we need freedom, we need independence, all this, and you're gonna let $2,500 be the thing that's
buy-in. Yeah, it's a buy-in. It's a commitment, and it's the same thing we do with personal training or with the gym membership or something like that. We have a trial. It's a $7 7-day trial. Buy in, because most people, they'll come for that first day of that 7 days and then they'll never show up again. They get sore, they get hung. You got to have a buy-in. And guys, we live in America's capitalism, and what's so cool is this is capitalism at its finest. It's not Walmart, Target, big pharma, corporate America capitalism that it puts all this money up there in these big hedge funds, and this is how capitalism was intended to be, and that's what's so cool about this.
Yeah, there's opportunities just abound within the Acts community too. Because like if a person realizes it, it's like, wow, like okay, I have this land, I have this community, there's franchising, I can pay off a lot. At the very least, at the very least, like a portion of it, right?
Mhm.
Even if you didn't do the whole thing, right? Maybe just like a couple, it'd be nice if you could pay 50% off, like
Yeah.
take that off, something like
Mhm.
that. But as we grow, imagine we already have Texas, Tennessee, Florida. They're going to be interacting with each other. Okay,
Mhm.
they're going to be sending goods to each other. All right,
Right.
Florida's going to be sending oranges to Texas. Texas is going to be sending stuff to Tennessee. All right, and as we grow even more massive, right, the Idaho property will. All right, that one's already 3,000. Actually, excuse me, the one I'm really interested in is 4,000. 4,000 acres over there. Okay, the California one, that when that gets up and running, there's going to be a distributed, decentralized network, a completely divergent economy that exists between all of these different communities, selling goods, not just to each other, but selling goods out into the community, spreading
Mhm.
stuff into the community.
And that goes to the idea of charter cities. I don't know if have you ever seen that article? I think it got pulled down. That's what's funny. I think this article about charter cities got pulled down, but it talked about exactly that: developing communities within a state that govern themselves. Let's get back to decentralized government. Let's get rid of this federal government crap. I mean, it intended its purpose, but it's overstepped its bounds.
Yeah,
And when you create a commerce system amongst smaller communities like that, you do exactly what your vision is, and it's empower yourself and become self-sustaining.
exactly, exactly. And that's why we work so fast. That's why we're working so hard, because that's going to be the biggest safety, the biggest thing that can get this up and running, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll address the elephant in the room. Some people go, how do you make sure you don't get Waco'd? Well, the answer is when you're across many different states and many different places, right? Then it no longer stops being about just one weird region. Because if
Right.
they have one weird region, and there's the other thing about it is actually social media is very important. When we're able to show through social media what we're doing and how everything's
Right.
operating,
It's legit.
it's legit. People can't be making that little like, oh, there's some weird little cult. Oh, there's some weird little people. It's like, no, no, no. Like you can see everything that we're doing.
We're all
Yes,
drinking the Kool-Aid, guys.
yeah, exactly. It's very critical as we expand out there, and we're going to be going. I mean, you talked about states. I'm like, let's go global. Like we're going to be
Mhm.
doing Baco Island in Panama. We're looking at. I'm not exaggerating. We're looking at castles in Italy. That's a fact.
Wow.
Castlist.com, and we put in castles, and we actually are going to be buying up those castles, right? I look at the Sound of Music, I look at Austria, and I'm like, man, let's get some stuff in Austria.
Oh man. This excites me. This is it's I mean it's a dream. It's what we're all after. It's what we're all after. It's we want to be self-sustaining. We want to I mean take our balls back, right?
Yeah,
And that's what this is doing.
it's what God wants. It's what God wants for you.
Yeah.
He wants it for you.
Hmm. Oh man, that's incredible. So when somebody purchases a property
Mhm.
and you buy the property, you're in a state now. Is everybody developing their land right away, or do some people go ahead and take a few years of recouping some cost from purchasing the land, let you make money off of it for a little while, and then build their house?
Second, it's the second, and
Okay.
that was a surprising thing. And in fact, it was really telling. It was really interesting, and I'm very happy that I've talked to every single person,
Hmm.
and I know that the majority of people, they plan to actually start generating profit from their land before they start building their home. Again, it was the further sayings of the wise, right? To just
Hmm.
field. So most people, they're not going to be, building this $850,000 house or $1 million house just right off the bat. They're going to be building up towards that and gaining skills, right? Which is pretty massive.
Hmm.
One cool thing that a lot of people do is what they will set up is they'll set up like a smaller home that will transition into becoming their Airbnb home.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. That one of my dreams has been um to we own the insurance agency as well, and so with that, every place we have an office, buying an Airbnb, right? Because then we have a free place to stay when we go, and we're building an investment while we're not there because the Airbnb is paying for it.
Makes sense.
The other one was, my wife and I want to buy an earth roamer. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. So like that's once the kids are grown up and out of the house, but it's like an overlanding RV, right?
I was gonna say, like that's yeah.
Yeah,
We,
and we want to get one of those, and then but have like 100 acres of land where we have 10 or 20 Airbnb, like one of those yurts or tiny homes or things like that we rent out. That we have a place to stay when we want to come back to home base. But in the meantime, we have this beautiful property that's paying for itself, and we can travel wherever we want. And I mean, that's exactly what you're able to do with this. But I mean, do it quicker. Like you said, buy it, in a 25-acre parcel, or buy it in a 50-acre parcel, and also have the land producing for itself as well.
exactly. I wanted to share a screen real quick
Yeah.
and show you something. Look at this real quick. All right. So this is in Montana. All right. And we are targeting Montana, but this is just facts. All right. So for anybody who's listening, what I'm doing is I'm going to this website called pauseup.com, and I'm showing the Moonlight Camp. This is
Yeah.
Moonlight Camping. Okay. So they will show you the prices. Will can confirm that it's literally like a tent. It's like a
Mhm.
timber tent. All right.
Yep.
Look at these nightly prices.
And what's cool is you can buy these things. I've looked because I started doing some research on how much these yurts cost. They're anywhere from 10 to 20 grand, depending on how bougie or how big you go. You know,
Exactly.
Small investment, and you put it on a piece of property, and you're making that pricing a night. It's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So, by the way, for anybody listening, we're looking at $2,000 a night, and these guys are booked out. Okay, $2,000 a night, and these guys are booked out. All right, and so it's like even if I was wrong by 90%, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm just talking about $200 a night, you're telling me $200 a night can't help you and your family out, you know?
Yeah, that's it's a dream, man. Now, how long has Axe been around for?
We are new. We're brand new. We're brand
Really?
new. I've been like the actual
Hmm.
property is like brand new, right? That was our first one. It's done. We opened it up in June, and now it's August. It's already been sold out completely.
So the Axe entity has only been open for really a few months then.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been working on it in the background, right? I would
Hmm.
talk about it on social media for 3 years.
Yeah.
But in the situations of like when bamboo grows underground, right? You
Hmm.
don't you don't see it, you don't see it, and then in one day it will
Shoots
just
up.
yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what's happened with X. It was just me in the background, like making the partnerships, learning everything,
Hmm.
to handle this because there's just so many different questions that people have, so many different like little niggling doubts or ideas or anxieties that I had to have become equipped for, and I'm glad I did that. My Batman training, I call it, to be able to handle it. Yeah.
So where do you see Axe in the next 5 years?
Axe is no question about it. Already, it's the fastest growing real estate company in the nation. Period. Period. It's not even. It's not. It's literally not even close. Like it is.
Oh.
And let's put it this way: we do the right place, then this time next year we will have done over $100 million of real estate transactions.
Wow.
2 years, $250 million in that, like in a year, like 250
Hmm.
million. In 5 years, we will be doing, over a billion in real estate transactions a year, just across these properties. Because we're going to be the reason I can confidently say that is because I'm playing right now. Like the first two were lands that were like in the fives.
Hmm.
The Florida is already in the tens. As we get to Montana, Idaho, California, we're looking at the 30s and the 40s in terms of what the land
Hmm.
price is. And in 5 years, we're going to easily be able to go after lands that are over 100. Um, and we're going to be making available for people. And that's going to mean that people will have access to literally hundreds of thousands of acres, literally hundreds of thousands of acres. So for anybody listening, I'm pulling up land.com and I'm literally hitting sort and I'm putting largest, right? Literally just largest. So like, look at this. Like this is in Colorado, like 120,000 acres for 40 mil. Like that's what we're gonna be buying out.
Wow. Look at
Stuff.
that land, man.
Yeah, like here's another one, 92,000 acres, right?
Hmm.
80,000 acres, 87,000 acres. This is where our ballpark's gonna be and stuff like that. It will be normal language, just like normal, like, oh yeah, dude, like I'm excited. I'm starting my franchise. Like I'm getting an axe. People are gonna be like, I'm going off. It's gonna be like I'm buying axe. Like I'm gonna finally get my axe property. Um, Other cool things, other cool developments. One of my mentors, John. So he started his own community called Ridge Landing Air Park.
Okay.
Okay, so fly where you live. So he literally sets up
Oh,
these
cool.
lots where you have an airstrip in your backyard. And so he's taught me about what it takes to add airstrips to the property. So 5 years, there's commerce between the properties as people are flying from one Axe community to the next Axe community. And we're going to be the owners of many different forms of distribution. There's things like, for example, if I go to Biz Buy Sell, okay, you can buy water distribution facilities, entire trucking lines,
Hmm.
things like that. So we're going to be making acquisitions on in those terms as well. So there will be like, if I put in like water over here,
Hmm.
boom, water
Wow.
distribution companies, right? Granaries, seederys, armories, different things like that. So people are just going to see more and more of Axe, but it's going to be with zero major outside investors of any kind.
Do you ever see this growing to the point where it becomes too big?
God strengthens those he's placed stuff on, and as long as it's too big right now for any one man. You
Hmm.
do that. You couldn't do what I'm doing. Like nobody could do what I'm doing and just do it for just like pure money gains or anything like
Right.
that without the service of God. It would crush a person. It would
Hmm.
crush like it really would crush a
Yeah.
person.
Well, it sounds like to invest in this, you really have to have like you're not necessarily going to make money right away from the and you may never make money. You may pay off your property and then later on have passive income, right?
Yeah,
Um, and it sounds like it could, especially if you set up Airbnbs, if you could definitely make money on the property. And it
yeah.
sounds like it's more of an entrepreneurial endeavor too. So it takes that kind of mindset to be able to
Yeah.
take that kind of risk, right?
There's an element of that. I would say I kind of realized over time that one of the main reasons people buy is like there's the land economics,
Hmm.
speed, there's the quality that we're going to have, there's the community, but another aspect is going to be a lot of it leadership. A lot
Hmm.
of people, like I just realized over time, they won't say the words, TJ, the reality is I just want you to help me feed my family and my next generations.
Yeah.
But that's the implicit, like with the number of questions that they ask, and anybody who goes to the frequently asked questions will realize it. Um, like it's a big aspect of it. And so, yeah, a person has to have faith. That's it's
Hmm.
not going to be able to do any of this without faith and confidence in God to shepherd you through this, because it will crush someone who's not mentally prepared for it. It really will.
Hmm. Well, and a vision inspired by God like this, and somebody like you who is wanting to do good for Him, like it's going to be a blessed endeavor no matter what, and especially as long as your eyes are always on the prize, right, and always on that true north. That's incredible. What's a couple of books you'd recommend to people that are interested in something like this?
Oh, number one, I would recommend everybody go check out Mark Passio's natural law seminars. Watch one, part two, part three, the whole entire thing, and don't take your eyes off of it the whole entire time. People do not understand the fundamentals of natural law. After that, I would recommend a person read You Can Farm by Joel Salatin. Fantastic book. Helps people unwind from the psyop,
Hmm.
unwind from a lot of the nonsense. I would also recommend they read the book Everything I Want to Do Is Illegal, once again by Joel Salatin.
Sounds like a
Uh,
great book.
yeah, it's a great book. And then I would recommend a person really start preparing themselves mentally by like understanding just history and understanding like the ideas behind farming principles and what's going on and stuff like that, and just
Mhm.
prepare themselves that way. And then really go through the FAQs. I'm not exaggerating. Like, please, like, just go through the FAQs.
Don't let TJ sell you on it. Go check out the FAQs.
You need to sell them. It's like to so that they know what they're getting themselves into. Like
Right.
this is, it's a huge transformation, huge.
Hmm.
It can't be taken lightly.
Yeah. Well, and we have to realize that there's been brainwashing for 50 years,
Yeah,
maybe longer, right?
longer. My,
Yeah.
you know, have you ever heard that thing that like every generation complains about the kids,
Uh-huh.
you know? And people make fun of that, going like, "Oh, it's just what people do." But I'm like, maybe there's been an actual tracking throughout history of people saying like, "No, like maybe the kids are getting worse every single
Hmm.
generation."
Yeah.
Maybe it
Well,
actually.
and we keep on discovering, I mean, the more we have access to, the more information we have access to, through social media, through the internet, all that. And then the more that gets exposed through idiocracy and politicians and so on and so forth. Like, we see the country being run by a circus, right? And a greedy circus at that.
Exactly.
Um, so we're able to see more and more, and therefore people are getting smarter. I mean, people are starting to wise up to, we also see so much stupidity in this world, just craziness in this world that it's irrational. It doesn't make sense. And, that goes to a whole other conversation. I'm sure we could dive into Revelation and have a great conversation with that, but
That's the
we'll
whole
save
thing.
that for another time.
Like Microsoft patent 666. That's the whole thing.
Man. Yeah. Yeah. What legacy do you want to leave, TJ?
I want people to know. I want my life to be an artwork where my marriage, my kids, and acts provide incontrovertible proof of the glory and the power of God. That like a person can really be like the only explanation for this, all of what just went on here. God must be real. God, and you know what? It's not just about the is God real or not conversation, because a lot of people
Mhm.
believe God is real, but it's not, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Should I take God for real? That's the better.
Oh, that's good.
That's the better thing. People be like, "Oh yeah, God's real." Okay, but they don't take him seriously. Yo, actually, I do need to say this. Excuse me. It's small little rant time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it. Go for it.
I am very sick and tired of when, we're doing stuff with Axe and I announce we're in a new state and someone goes like, "Oh, but it's not really close enough to me here in this specific state." Okay. And the only exception is maybe if there's an actual literal sick relative that physically is incapable of moving.
Hmm.
That's it. Every other case, it's like, no, you're just being lazy. And the truth of the matter is, for everybody who tells me that, right? If I were to give them $1 million or give them like a job that was going to be $1 million a year,
Hmm.
they'd move out, wouldn't they? You know,
It's the
they
risk.
real fast. So it's like, okay, you've got, God's calling, and some of you still might not get it, still might not believe it, think that I'm just saying that for the sake of it, right? It's like, no, really, like this is God's calling. Like an actual thing named after the early church is now setting up every single thing you possibly need. Okay, hand it to you on a silver platter. You've got that there in your hands, right? But no, that's not enough. But if I were to give you money, you would do it, right?
Hmm.
That proves which is the true master, right? So, when I just think about it as a whole, if people listen to that calling and step outside of their comfort zone, right? That's going to be the thing that changes it. That's
Yeah.
the thing holding people back. People want to get into, and I could trust me, I could go into every single, I've read so many books on like elite this, right? Illuminati that. Oh, it's the these people, it's the that people, it's the this, this council, it's that, group, whatever it might be, right?
Hmm.
I could talk about that all day, but none of that comes even close to people being their own prison guard by far. And the truth is that little prison doesn't even have a lock on it. They're their own prison guard, and they could just open the door to that prison and just walk right out, but they'll be their own guard and they'll tackle themselves before they can make it out the door.
Ain't that the truth? People want to blame something bigger than them, but it's usually them that are holding themselves back.
The whole entire time. And in direct proportion to the amount of hemming and hawing and crying and whining and complaining, that's the measure. That's the measure. That's the truth about it. That's the truth about it.
Man, that's good. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. Where can people find out more about you and
So
more about
please,
what you're doing?
yeah, so please follow us at actsdereal.com. Okay, so literally that's our website, actsdereal.com, ACTSDEREAL.com. And we have an Instagram page. It's literally just at actsdereal. My personal page is at TJ Visiodie, no underscores, no weird spellings. There's plenty of satanic little scam artists trying to like copy our page until we get the blue check mark. So there's only one and only ACTS Real, only one and only at TJ Visiodie. I never DM people first from either account ever. And that's where you can get updates.
Love it. Love it, man. Well, this has been awesome. You've got me, and just got to figure out where I want to go now, right?
I'll get to the man.
Yeah.
After this is over, I'll get you to Idaho.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that I've literally been talking to my wife about Idaho since the first time I've been there. And I'm like, one day we're going to Idaho. And,
Oh my God.
maybe this is it, man. Well, TJ, this has been great. Thanks for coming on. Guys, go like, follow, subscribe, do all the things on Instagram, Spotify. We're a few listens away from our next benchmark on Spotify. So go check us out there. And for all those listening, you can check us out on YouTube as well, and watch the in-person conversation. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.